Tony, what about, say, you're an independent contractor or sole proprietor? You go and meet a client for lunch. Do people miss out on those opportunities to write those off as business expenses?
I think many of them do. You got to be careful. Some people like to write off just meals out with anybody, anytime for anything, and that's not a business tax deduction. It was nice after COVID where they gave you the ability to write off 100% of that expense to encourage people to go back out to restaurants. But the typical write off is 50% for business meals and business entertainment. And just like it do nothing, you can't go out and just buy a meal for yourself. Uh, you actually have to talk business. Now, for some people, that's easy. It doesn't take much. And some simple things you could do. Many people have businesses where husbands and wives are both officers in the same business. So you could go out to dinner with your husband or wife if you're both officers of the same business. You're always talking about your business. So it's as simple as they should get in the habit of doing, okay, Tony and Marissa, a business meeting. and we did, how much money is left in the business account? How are we doing on accounts payable? We got any big checks coming in, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? So the requirements are not stringent, but it's got to be legitimate. And some businesses are easier than others to do that. So if you're managing a retail store, for example, you may not have the need to wine and dine clients that much. So if you're writing off dinners out every night of the week and you have a small retail store or an online business and you're not associating directly with clients, that might be looked at as, a little bit excessive and maybe not accurate. But if you're an outside salesperson calling on clients physically, going places, meeting, and you actually do invite a potential client for a round of golf or out for lunch or even happy hour after work, and because you're trying to get their business, that is totally legitimate.
Mhm.
And some people, they're doing that on a regular basis, whining and dining current customers to keep them happy or to try and entice them to stop doing business with somebody else and come doing business here. That is a totally legitimate thing. But you have to be in that kind of position and it has to make sense. So if I'm a salesperson, outside salesperson, it's my job to get new clients, then I could legitimately maybe be writing off business meals and entertainments on almost a daily basis versus someone that really doesn't interact directly physically with clients or potential.
And stuff like that. And I'm
Uh,
legitimately asking, what's something
I
nit?
actually have a client that he does auto dent repair. And so every year he spends a good $1,000 on clothes. Um, because that job destroys everything you wear when you're fixing that stuff. So, and you also have to have, I mean, he's buying nice stuff, but it also is lasting the whole year. Um, that is a tax deduction for him. He's wearing those to work in to do his job. He has to have those to do the work. Same thing if you're like going out in the field, sometimes he's not just working in the shop, but he'll follow like a storm to a different state. If he knows a big hailstorm just happened, he might go across the country. Well, you might need a completely different clothes there. That's still a business expense. You're going there for your job to do work someplace else. You need these things to do that job. Um, like Tony said, I don't think the IRS is, yes, there are some things that are very strict, but for the most part, for like a self-employed entrepreneur, business owner, there is a lot of leeway to make it so that if you know the rules, the guidelines from the IRS, there are ways to follow those to help you get more deductions by fitting what you're doing into those rules.